Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here, and welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Tuesday evening, December 24, 2024. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video. I'd really appreciate it if you guys get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems, so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak months of Atlantic hurricane season, that's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Please ensure that you guys utilize the progress bar that's located at the bottom of the video, as well as the timestamps that are located in the comment section as well as the video description, so that you can skip to the points in the video that you want to see the most in order to save time, because know that the videos over here where the Jamaica can be very long. Leave a comment down below letting me know what the weather's been like in your area recently. Also feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so we're going to be looking at the Global Tropics Hazard Outlook from the US Climate Prediction Center. We're going to be looking at the time period from January 1 to January 7, as well as the time period from January 8 to January 14. And what do we observe across the Caribbean from January 1 to January 7, as well as from January 8 to January 14? We see a lot of greens that represents above average rainfall. So it's going to be somewhere from 50 to 65% chance of above normal rainfall, especially from the eastern to the southwestern Caribbean to the south of Jamaica for the most part, from January 1 to January 7. Excuse me. And we see it's going to be more of a 50% chance of above normal rainfall across the same spots for January 8 to January 14. But we know these maps from the US Climate Prediction Center are not set in stone, so we have to just wait and see exactly what unfolds, and whatever happens, I'll definitely be here to keep you posted. Alright, we're going to be looking at the Euro model as well as the GFS supercomputer models for the next 168 hours, so keep your eyes focused on the timestamp and keep your eyes focused right here across the Caribbean as we're looking for all of this that we see on the key on the right, the reds, the oranges, the yellows into the greens that represents inches of rainfall. So we can see that as we head into Wednesday, we still have a lot of rainfall still surrounding the island, if not across the island. Heading into Thursday, something similar. Heading into Friday, we still have some rainfall lingering in and around the island for sure. We see the greens in and around the island. As we head into Saturday, we still have some lingering isolated showers. 21Z on Saturday is actually 4 p.m. and we see the greens that represent moisture stretching all the way from the eastern Caribbean into Jamaica, into the northwestern Caribbean right there. Heading into Sunday, we see more of the rainfall to the south of us than anything else. Heading into Monday, what do we see? Something similar like what we saw on Sunday, and then we're going to be stopping it right there at 12Z on Tuesday, December 31. So this is 168 hours out, and what do we see at the end of the run? Clearly we see a huge low pressure system across the US, stretching a tongue of moisture associated with the frontal system into the Gulf of Mexico, and we also see some moisture to the south of Jamaica. But let us match it to what the latest GFS model is showing. So just look at the latest Euro that came out at 3:30 p.m. So we're not gonna be looking at the latest GFS that just came out an hour ago. Alright, so we can see that heading into Wednesday, we still have a lot of lingering rainfall according to the GFS. Across the island, we're already getting some of the rainfall as we speak. Definitely foiling a lot of plans regarding Grand Market. Heading into Thursday, we still see a lot of moisture as represented by the greens across Jamaica stretching into the northwestern Caribbean. Friday, we see something similar. Heading into Saturday and Sunday, we still see some moisture across the island according to this GFS. Monday even has rainfall for sure, and we're going to be stopping it right here on Tuesday. 18Z on Tuesday is actually 1 p.m. on Tuesday, December 31. And we see that there's consensus for most of the rainfall to be to the south of the island, but the GFS tries to incorporate a section of northeastern Jamaica in the rainfall, not so much on the Euro at all. It's going to be interesting to see exactly what unfolds though. If we take a look at the accumulated precipitation for the next 7 days, this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both showing all the rainfall that's expected across the Caribbean from now up until the last day of December. And we can see that the most in the way of rainfall is represented by what we see on the key on the right, the dark reds into the purples, pinks, and the peach colors. And we can see that most of that is across the eastern Gulf of Mexico, stretching all the way across the western Caribbean, eastern Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia, for sure. Some of this spilling into section of Jamaica, eastern Cuba. Let us see if we can match this accumulated precipitation forecast from the Euro with the latest GFS. Do we have consensus? Yes, we surely do, especially right there across the western Caribbean to the west of the Cayman Islands, eastern Honduras, eastern Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia for sure, northeastern Jamaica, and even eastern Cuba getting in on some of the action. And if we take a closer look at Jamaica regarding the total accumulated rainfall expected, we clearly see that the most rainfall, even although we have rainfall across the entire island over the next 7 days, we see the blues, we see the greens. Clearly the Euro is a bit, well, less robust than the GFS. GFS very robust, having a lot of greens into the yellows, into the oranges, representing anywhere from 15 all the way up to maybe 80 millimeters of rainfall. The Euro showing more so on the least amount of rainfall size, so anywhere from 5 millimeters in the blues all the way up into the greens, and some slight yellows, maybe all the way up to 30, maybe 40 millimeters of rainfall. Either way, we see that the most in the way of rainfall is concentrated across northeastern parishes. They're talking about St. Mary, Portland, as well as eastern St. Thomas. So some isolated flash flooding could definitely take place. So I hope that persons are taking necessary precautions so that they're not that drastically affected. If we take a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can see that we have a frontal system stretching all the way from northern portion of North Atlantic all the way down into portion of Hispaniola and Jamaica right there. We also have another trough right here across sections of Central America, another trough right here off the northwestern coast of Africa. And we know a ridge of high pressure is somewhere up here that's responsible for sending all of the easterly trade winds across the main development region into the Caribbean. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can make out all of these entities. We see the clouds associated with the trough affecting eastern portions of Central America. We see the frontal system attached to the trough, going all the way down to portion of Jamaica and Hispaniola. And we can make out that low level flow from east to west, bringing those low level clouds, pushing them towards us, all courtesy of that easterly flow of wind brought about by the ridge of high pressure. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean today later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Tuesday, December 24, 2024. It was stated that rain was in the forecast for parts of some northern parishes in Jamaica on Tuesday morning, also affecting sections of some eastern, central, and western parishes during Tuesday afternoon. And we know northern parishes, we're talking about Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland. While eastern parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey, like Portland, St. Thomas, Kingston, St. Andrew. Central parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Middlesex, like St. Anne, St. Mary, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine. While western parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall, like St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, and Trelawney. And what ended up happening? As early as 8:31 a.m., the visible satellite image was posted not only here on our Twitter page at Weather Jamaica, but also on our TikTok page at Weather Jamaica, on our Instagram page at weather.jamaica, and on our Facebook page at Weather Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there as we make posts throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. So the visible satellite images, the visible satellite image of Jamaica was posted at around 8:31. Highlighting the clouds, bringing some overcast skies and some isolated shores, mainly to section of northern Jamaica. And we can even see excuse me, the upper level cirrus clouds being pushed off from southwest to northeast. And we can even make out some clouds right here after the southeast of the island, some isolated shores out to sea at that time too. As the day progressed, the Cuban Doppler radar images were posted at around 12:40 p.m. highlighting the rainfall, as we know is represented by the greens into the yellows. We know the greens represent moderate rainfall, that's moderado in Spanish. Fuerte in the yellows represents strong or heavy rainfall. And we definitely saw some of that rainfall across sections of Hanover, St. James, Trelawney at that time. We also saw some rain bands coming into portions of eastern St. Thomas, as well as maybe even eastern Portland at that time too. And then at around 4:55 p.m., The infrared close-up satellite images of Jamaica were posted, and they confirmed what was predicted. Afternoon rainfall for eastern, central, and western parishes, but it was more confined to southern Jamaica. It's like what was predicted yesterday. We can see the low level flow pushing those thunderstorms. We see the sparkling white dots represent lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes, from east, northeast to west, southwest, across St. Catherine into Clarendon, southern Manchester, St. Elizabeth definitely got on the thunderstorm activity. And we also got the activity across sections of Portland, sections of northern St. Andrew, as well as sections of St. Thomas for sure. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of Jamaica before all was said and done with the day, we see the blanket of clouds all across the island, and we can also see the upper level flow shearing those cloud tops towards the northeast. We can see it all even better here on the infrared satellite images. I mean, look at all of the thunderstorm activity. It's been a long time since I've been hearing thunder in the month of December, especially in my parish, St. Thomas. If anything, it would be affecting northern Jamaica. But we're getting action in southern Jamaica in December around Christmas time. Something similar to what took place last year, but I can't remember a time before last year and this year that something like this has happened. So climate change is very real. So we can clearly see the thunderstorm activity that took place across sections of eastern and southern Jamaica, and we can make out those high cloud tops being sheared off towards the northeast, just as we stated. We definitely have confirmation of the rainfall today. Flatbridge definitely was getting in on their fair share of moderate to heavy rainfall at around 3:41 p.m. As according to the live camera from See Jamaica's YouTube channel, we can see people in their vehicles crossing over a very wet flat bridge. They were definitely getting in on that rainfall at that time. And we can see the Rio Cobra, that river definitely murky at that time as well, for sure. Just to confirm what was predicted. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to see more live streams like this, just visit See Jamaica on YouTube and subscribe to them, because they're planning on increasing the amount of cameras that they have in and around the island. So subscribe so that you don't miss out. If we take a look at the accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours from the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, this map does indeed paint a picture of where we had that rainfall today across northern Jamaica, mainly in the morning, and then across taking down some 7 parishes, especially during the afternoon, where we had that isolated thunderstorm activity as well. So eastern, central, western parishes, just as predicted. And if we take a look at the comments that came in, one right here on our YouTube page from Katie and Martin, stating, we get a lot of rainfall in Central Village today. Water floods the roads. I wish you would have sent a clip on one of the other social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, so that I could highlight it here. We also have Lawrence Davidson, 6195. Montego Bay getting light rain and wind from early morning. Charlene Morris, 2337. Finally, Lennox Big Woods, Westmoreland, Jamaica got a quick little drizzling shower for 15 minutes and now windy and overcast. Antonique Leachman, 4504, stating, finally some rain, heavy rain and wind in St. Catherine Old Harbor. Even on our Instagram page, excuse me, we had a comment coming in from Edward Stenisha, stating rain in Mandeville and South Manchester. And even on our Facebook page, we had Sylvia Bando stating overcast in Brownstown, St. Anne. Dreeny RJ stating looks and feels like a winter wonderland in Porty. Getting a real old-fashioned Christmas here weather-wise. And Damian Big stating rain in St. Elizabeth. So those comments indeed confirm what was predicted for Jamaica's weather today. Let us see what happens tomorrow. If we take a look at the very latest still image from the Weather Nerds website, let us see what's happening right now. Alright, so the very latest still image just came out at 005 UTC. And clearly we can see that the entire island is blanketed in clouds. Most people are not going to be seeing stars tonight. We can see some thunderstorms out to sea to the southwest of St. Elizabeth, to the southeast of St. Thomas. We know the sparkling white dots represent where we have the lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes. So some possible rainfall out there, if not on land right now. As a matter of fact, we have cloud cover all across the island, so it could be raining or it could just be overcast. I live in St. Thomas, definitely getting in on some light rainfall as we speak. Let us see what's happening on the latest Cuban Doppler radar imagery. Alright, so let's reload this so that we have the very latest to show. Hopefully it shows us the 7:10 Cuban Doppler radar, considering that it is 7:20 now. Let us see if it actually shows that. Alright, so 7:10. There we go. What do we see across the island? Not much. We do see that rainfall that eastern Jamaica is getting in on those sections of St. Andrew, sections of St. Thomas, and the waters to the south of the island. Definitely getting on that Moderado and Fuerte. Maybe some moderate rainfall more than anything else. Taking a look at the Guantanamo Bay Cuban Naval Radar Imagery, this map also confirms the rainfall across eastern Jamaica for sure. We see the greens, we see the blues, they represent some light to moderate rainfall. Taking a look at the Cayman radar, we can make out some rainfall to the west and to the south of the Cayman Islands for sure. Nothing affecting the Cayman Islands or western Jamaica right now. If we take a look at the Crossroads cam, the live Crossroads cam at 7:21 p.m. Not showing much of anything at all in terms of bad weather. Definitely seems fair. Don't see anybody walking with any umbrella. Definitely looks dry, but it was definitely wet earlier. If we load back the camera to about 4:41, the ground, the streets definitely look wet at that time, and we can also see the blanket of clouds across the hills of St. Andrew too. Usually this could go back all the way back to the morning, but I guess there might have been a power outage or something. That's why the farthest it can go is back to 4:42 p.m. If we take a look at the temperatures right now, we can still have 24 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 25 degrees Celsius in Kingston, and by about 4 a.m. on Wednesday, temperature should dip down to about 25 degrees Celsius in, well, look like it's gonna be rising. 25 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 23 degrees Celsius in Kingston. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow. This map from the GFS is valid for 18Z on Wednesday. And calculated, that's 1 p.m. on Wednesday. And we can see Jamaica right here embedded in some orange colors that represents up to 2 degrees Celsius above normal temperatures. It's going to be a hot Christmas day for sure for some people. I know the average temperatures for the month of December are around 87 degrees Fahrenheit. And when 87 degrees Fahrenheit is converted to degrees Celsius, we're talking about 30.6 degrees Celsius. So we should be receiving anywhere from 30 to 32 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica's temperature on a Wednesday. And we're grateful that my JBS Online's Twitter page is not showing that anybody, any parish, any community at all on the island is going to be encountering any maintenance outage, advisories, or anything like that. So we won't have the fans being shut off or the AC to make the heat even worse. If you take a look here at the tips to beat the heat, if tomorrow is going to be a bit too hot for you, please ensure that you dress down, wear lightweight clothing and use sunscreen. Check on others including children, elderly people with medical conditions and pets. Be cool, stay indoors and make use of fans and air conditioners. Avoid alcohol and caffeine as they can make dehydration worse. Limit non-essential strenuous activity during the hottest parts of the day. And I cannot stress enough how important it is to always stay hydrated, put away the sugary drinks, drink a lot of water throughout the day even if you're not thirsty. Alright, taking a look at the dry air map. Excuse me, we know the dry air is represented by the yellows, the oranges, the reds, like what we see on the key on the bottom. We see a lot of dry air across the main development region and northern portion of North Atlantic, all the way into the Western Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico. Lots of dry air across those areas, while the moist air is still plaguing the Caribbean as well as the Jamaica area, which explains all of the moisture that we've been encountering. But the forecast for tomorrow in terms of the Saharan dust forecast is crazy. This is 2 p.m. on Wednesday, and we can see all of the Saharan dust stretching all the way across the main development region into the eastern to the central and southwestern Caribbean, especially northeastern South America getting slammed by a lot of Saharan dust. We know that especially the dark shades of browns can cause very hazy skies. Excuse me. And we know the hazy skies, well, you know, the dust in general can definitely cause respiratory illnesses in some people. You're talking about asthma, sinusitis, you name it. So that everybody is on their P's and Q's getting ready for that. Clearly for 2 p.m. on Wednesday, Jamaica right here should still be in the clear, but can't say the same for Thursday. We'll see exactly what unfolds. If we take a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, we see that both Euro and GFS supercomputer models have more blues than anything else. We're talking about light shades of blues to dark shades of blues. So anywhere from 0.5 meter wave height all the way up to 1.5 meter wave heights from the western to the eastern Caribbean. Waters to the north of Jamaica, 1.1 meter wave height. Waters to the south of Jamaica, 1.3 meter wave height. And that's because of the winds that are expected. We see more greens than anything else. And we see the flow of the winds from the east for sure, averaging more than likely. Let's get a close up to know what they're averaging. The waters to the north of Jamaica, 12 knots. Waters to the south of Jamaica, 15 knots. But we see more blues across the island than anything else. So who knows, maybe we might get some isolated afternoon rainfall, especially where we have the least amount of winds. That's where all of the air could pile up for sure. And we'll get in on that rainfall, that diurnal convection, especially with the trough affecting us. And we see that the upper level winds are forecast to still be coming in from the southwest. So just like what we had today, with all of these upper level clouds being sheared off towards the northeast, and we had the thunderstorms, we might just have something similar, especially across central and western parishes. Taking a look at the rain forecast for tomorrow. This one from the Euro and this one from the GFS are both showing 1 p.m. on Wednesday. And we see similarities and we see differences. The similarities, basically eastern Jamaica with the blues. That's the rainfall for 1 p.m. Central and western Jamaica on the Euro, but not so much on the GFS. And skipping ahead to about 4 p.m. now, eastern, central, and western Jamaica on the Euro. The GFS, more so northern and western Jamaica. We'll see exactly what unfolds either way. Both accumulated precipitation forecast maps are showing that it's going to be raining somewhere across Jamaica within the next 24 hours. We can see the Euro showing up to at least 0.94 of an inch of rainfall across the east. GFS not so robust, but we see the rainfall in and around the island for sure. Either way, we'll take it. We're in the month of December. We're in one of our dry months of the year. In Kingston, we usually receive up to 25 millimeters of rainfall. That's about 1 inch of rainfall. In Montego Bay, we usually receive excuse me, close to 4 inches of rainfall in Montego Bay for the month of December. That's almost 90 millimeters of rainfall. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to find out what your specific parish usually receives for the year or for the month of December, you can visit weatherandclimate.com, and that website will show you that information. And you can use this nice little graphic right here that converts rainfall from inches to millimeters that we receive on the rain gauge. We know that 1 inch of rainfall is about the same as 25 millimeters of rainfall, so you can do the math yourself. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So as stated, we have that low level flow of clouds from east-west across the Caribbean. Some isolated showers definitely plaguing portions of the eastern Caribbean. We also see some thunderstorms as usual affecting sections of Puerto Rico, Hispaniola, sections of Cuba, Jamaica, sections of Belize, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia, just as we predicted. And if we take a look at the Doppler radar images of the northeastern Caribbean, let's see what's happening right there right now. Some isolated showers in and around Antigua and Barbuda, some isolated showers across eastern Puerto Rico, northern Puerto Rico, the waters around the island for sure. And if we load these images from earlier today, you can see it was definitely raining across, especially northern, central, especially western Puerto Rico for sure. Eastern Dominican Republic definitely gotten at some of the action. And if we take a look at the Barbados radar, not seeing much affecting Barbados right now. We do make out some rainfall right there to the east of Dominica, some rainfall right there to the southeast of Martinique, maybe gonna clip southern Martinique. You can also see some rainfall affecting the Grenadines, passing to the south of Grenada to the north of Tobago. Not seeing much activity right now across Trinidad. And if we take a look at the weather Doppler radar images, we can see that rainfall passing to the north of the ABC Islands from east-west. You can also see that moderate heavy rainfall to the east of Nicaragua for sure, pushing from east to west too. Some isolated showers to the east of Belize as well. And if we take a look at where the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours, this one from the GFS and this one from the Euro, both showing all the rainfall expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Wednesday. And we can see that there is definitely some rainfall expected across sections of southern Florida, eastern Cuba, the waters of the western Caribbean, Jamaica, Cayman Islands, the Yucatan Peninsula, Belize, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia. Sections of the ABC Islands might get on some of the action according to the Euro, not so much on the GFS. But we do see some isolated showers in store for western, southern, and eastern Venezuela, Guyana, Suriname, French Guyana. Sections of the Windward Islands, including maybe Grenada, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Barbados. section of Martinique, Dominica, Guadeloupe might get on some of the action. We can also see some rainfall possible for sections of Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, as well as Haiti. And it's that both the Euro and the GFS models are in consensus with this forecast. I know that when they're in consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.